Here we go. 14 books that helped me make my first million by the time I turned 27 years old. I got a handful of them sitting next to me. I got a ton of them sitting behind me. And I got way more upstairs. And the point of this video is that books absolutely transform my life. And I want to share with you some of the books that really just fucking changed it all for me, right? I was just a normal dude, D student, struggling dude, didn't go to college, and just through books was able to transform my life into just something so much greater. And if just one of these things could impact you like it impacted me, then that's a job well done. Couldn't be more happier for that, and couldn't be more excited for the amazing things that are about to happen to you if you dive into these books and put some study in. So there's three kind of things I want to talk about. I'm going to share with you in this video. Three things. First one, I'm just going to story time real quick. I just want to share my story on how I got into books, and because it wasn't like this before. I was just like D student. I didn't study this stuff earlier. I got into this like 10 years ago and went super duper hard. Like really going hard into like, you know, what's going to get me out of this shitty life that I'm living in this crappy business, and what's going to get me into supercars and living on islands and traveling around the world and, you know, making tons of money and just living an epic life, like creating this dream life I can imagine. Books are the way that helped me kind of grow into this. So three things I'm going to share. I'm going to share that little story. I'm going to share 9 books. So when you first get into reading, you kind of realize you have these initial thoughts on what you think you need to get good at, especially when you want to crush business. You're like, okay, I got to do sales, marketing, I got to do advertising, psychology, I got to do all these things, I got to get networking, and that's what I did. I dove down super deep into all those books, success, you know, personal development, all those things. Anything that I thought could possibly help me, you know, get out of my parents' basement in the woods and become successful online. That way I could go live this life, this awesome life. So I found 9 amazing books that really changed my life around those specific topics. But that wasn't enough for me. That wasn't enough for me to really experience what I wanted to do, because what I found was I started getting closer, I was getting smarter, and I was getting closer to being able to have breakthroughs and being able to have big wins in the business. But what I found was I ran into this like glass ceiling. I don't know if this has ever happened to you, but I ran into a ceiling that I couldn't get past, and I started to experiencing obvious signs of self-sabotage, where clearly I wanted to live this, like be successful and start doing well, but something in my brain would stop me from getting there. Something in my brain would fuck it up right at the end. I would go all the way to the finish line, and I would stop right before the finish line, and then I'd fuck it up, and the finish line would disappear, and I'd be back where I started. So when that happened, I was like, I need to stop business, and I need to figure out what the fuck is going on here. So I spent the next 3 months in a row doing nothing but reading every book I could find on what was going on there, what was causing my self-sabotage, why did I mess it up, why couldn't I pull the trigger to make this stuff happen. And I found 5 amazing books. I read a lot, but I found 5 incredible books that absolutely transformed my life that I'm going to share with you regarding, which is where the solution is, the topics of the subconscious mind, your identity, who you see yourself as a person, your beliefs around money, your beliefs around success, and some universe manifesting, you know, conversations with God type stuff, having talks with God and digging deep into some weird kind of woo-woo stuff. Trust me, it's crazy, it's weird, but I'm telling you, the weird stuff works for me. So let's dive into it. First, quick little story before I go into this first book here. So yeah, I was a D student. I was a surfer, skateboarder kid who just never had any money ever. Never really thought about what it'd be like to have money. I just thought it'd be super sick, but never ever thought I could ever do it. And so I worked at like Vons, I worked at like grocery stores, then I eventually worked at a skate shop, doing what you love, sleeping on my friend's floor, doing all that stuff, and just hating books. Because when I was in high school, I was this crappy student, and my mom would come in and slam the book down and be like, "You got an F on your English test. You got to study. You got to read." And I was like, "I don't want to study." And she's like, "You got to study." And I'm like, "I'm not going to study," you know? So I just would see these books and be like, "I fucking hate you. Book, I hate you. I hate you. I hate you." And it was just like pain. And I linked so much pain to studying in books, which was such a tragedy that that happened. But eventually, fast forward a couple of years, I find myself stranded in my parents' basement in the woods with no money, my car doesn't work. I'm 45 minutes away from the closest bar with girls. I didn't go to college, so I just felt like I was getting dumber by the day. And it was just a frustrating experience. And then one day my dad takes me to this like business conference, and I go to this like conference and I see these guys talking about books, and those guys are talking about, did you read that book? Did you read this book? Did you read that one? And I was like, I fucking haven't read any of these goddamn books. It was frustrating. I don't know if you ever felt like that. It just gets like kind of frustrating to you. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to Barnes & Noble. I'm going to go look at the business section. I haven't been there ever. I don't think I've ever really checked it out and actually looked with like the new lenses of being a aspiring business successful guy, right? So I go there, and I never forget, it just changed my life, absolutely transformed my like view. I just saw these titles like the Millionaire, Fastlane, all these books. I was like, you're telling me I could like just read these things instead of go to college? I could just read? Like I could just take a bunch of Adderall and just grind my ass off and just start learning? Like, oh my God, that's like, let's do it, I'm in. So in my parents' basement in the woods, I got into some heavy duty studying. I don't know how it just compounded upon itself. I read one book, which I'm going to introduce you, one of the first books I read that really took things off. And it just absolutely transformed me. And I became this student. And the more that I read, the more I realized how much I was missing, how many golden nuggets there were to find inside these books that would completely transform the way I was thinking and just completely start shifting me out of this old frame of mind and turning me into someone new and someone greater. So that's what happened. And that started 10 years ago. And I've been going in hard. I went super hard for 4 years in a row. And then when I started crushing it, it was up until I started crushing it, which I'm going to share the last book, by the way, I ever read in this video before I started crushing it. Failing for 4 years, reads one book, boom, everything explodes. It's in the video. It's actually the last book in this video I'm going to share with you. But, so yeah, that's it. That's the whole story. I've been grinding super hard ever since. Still reading a ton. Not as hard as I used to, but books stand out with you. This is why I like bookshelves. I haven't read all these books, but a book will stand out to you at different parts of your life, this headline. So you're going to know when you walk past this thing and you see it. So let's do it. 14 books. Number 1. This is the first. I'm going to share with you guys the 9, by the way. So this is number 1. Awaken the Giant Within by Tony Robbins. I know everybody talks about Tony Robbins. Everybody's like, Tony Robbins, Tony Robbins. Let me tell you, this guy is the real deal. I'm not kidding you. This is one of the hardest books on the planet to read because you read one page and you got to go walk 2 miles around the lake to comprehend like just the breakthrough you just had reading this stuff. This guy has been helping people for like 30 years transform their lives, if not 40, long time. And he's one of the best guys on the planet at doing this. Awaken the Giant Within is his best book. Insane, fantastic, amazing book. Just totally dives into like your belief systems, your emotions, being able to control your emotions, not letting your bank account or outside stuff control your emotional state. Tony Robbins didn't change where I was. He changed where I was going. That was the whole thing. I was a skateboarder guy who thought that he was going nowhere until I met Tony Robbins, and then I realized I could be somebody and I could go somewhere. So I'm going to be a Tony Robbins fan until the day I die, no matter how many people yell at me, because he transformed my life more than I think anyone else ever has. Love this guy. You don't know your destiny. You don't know what you're here for. You don't know like what makes you fulfilled. You find yourself stuck. Dive into this one right here, Awaken the Giant Within by Tony Robbins. It is an incredible, incredible book. Number 2, The Cash Flow Quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki, the rich dad, poor dad guy. Wrote a book called The Cash Flow Quadrant. Absolutely incredible book. This is one of the first books I read. And it's amazing for somebody who is just getting out of high school and trying to figure out their place in the world, because he talks about this idea of like, you know, the cons of being an employee and the cons of like working for somebody else's dream and stuff like that, and the pros of having your business and then eventually moving into life as an investor where your money works for you and you have all the time. And The financial part of this is incredible, but what's really valuable about this book is that he really can inspire you by like how much just lack of information can screw you over. Lack of like not reading the books can screw you over, and he really inspires you to like, you know, dive in and dive deeper and go down deeper rabbit holes and like really get into studying and really get in this idea of like educating yourself and just filling your brain with wisdom and just becoming somebody who has wisdom to give to other people. Amazing book, Cash Flow Quadrant. Great for someone getting out of high school and wants to get into like a space or getting into like, you know, the career kind of world. Number 3, The Millionaire Fastlane. This book changed my life. Absolutely. It's by a guy named M.J. Demarco. And what changed my life about this book is that this guy fucking really did it. He started a company called limos.com, and he was making $5,000 every 2 days from his company, from his online business. I was getting into the online world, and well, first off, he rips fucking college super hard. He rips this idea of like there's this slow lane, and like your life's so slow when you go down this particular road, and it just sucks. And there's this other lane of being an entrepreneur where you can just achieve the same result except way faster, and he shows you some ways to do it. And he talks about online business models, lead generation being the one that stuck out to me the most. I started a lead generation company for rehab centers after I read this book. Absolutely, I read this thing in 3 days. Adderall and this all day long, and it is marked up to the brim for notes. It is really starred like crazy. What was that big star over there? I'm going to see if I can find out. Let's see if I can find it real quick. All right, can't find it. Incredible book. Absolutely transformed the way that I was thinking at the time. Read this maybe 9 years ago now. Love that one. Think and Grow Rich. You probably already heard of this one, and there's a reason. Word on the street says this book's made more millionaires than any other book ever written, and I would agree with him. This thing is fantastic. The ideas of having a white-hot burning desire for your goal. Most people, you know, want it, like poor people want to become rich. Rich people are committed to becoming rich, right? They're committed. This white-hot burning desire is your dream so hot and such a necessity that you just cannot live without achieving this thing. And the ideas around faith, and he starts to open up. He's got a chapter on the subconscious mind. He's got a chapter on masterminds in here. He starts to open up this idea that there's something else out there like helping you out that could have your back, that could like be a tool for you to use, or even be like a guiding light for you to follow. There's a reason this book has said that it's made more millionaires than anything, and this is absolutely #1 priority book for everybody to read. And I love this little gold edition. It's just cool. You can find this on Amazon. It just fucking looks sweet. And by the way, I mark the crap out of my books. Okay, books are meant to be beaten up. Beat it up. It's beautiful. It shows you put some effort into it right in that thing. Number 5, Getting Everything You Can Out of All You Got by Jay Abraham. You know, the more you dive into the marketing world, the more you're going to learn about this guy named Jay Abraham, who's an absolute legend. He blew up Icy Hot, if you remember that. This guy has got a wealth of tactical business information that I'll never forget. I'll tell you, the one that I learned right now is there's only 3 ways to grow a business. You either increase the amount of customers, you increase the average order value of the customer, and you increase how much that guy buys per year. 3 things. There's only 3 ways to grow any business, and you can apply that to every business on the planet. Came right from this guy on this book. Incredible, incredible business book. Awesome book. The cover kind of sucks, but the book is really amazing. Check it out if that's what you're looking for. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Incredible book. Again, all the books are really incredible. I scored through 200 books to find the best ones for you guys. And this one, you probably heard of it again because it's legendary, right? People know about this book. It's been around for a long time, about being a productive, real, success-oriented, driven guy. Love it. It's a super impactful book. It's in the top list. 80-20 Sales and Marketing. This one's really dope. A lot of you guys, if you haven't heard about the 80-20 rule, it's a law of the universe that can work miracles in your life. It is this idea that 20% of the activities that you do are generating 80% of the results. And this is everywhere. 20% of the roads get 80% of the traffic that people drive on, right? 20% of your house gets 80% of the foot traffic, right? It's this idea that everywhere in the world, 20% gets 80% of the results. And Perry Marshall applies that idea to sales and marketing. So like 20% of your customers are generating 80% of your revenue, or 20% of your customers could be generating 80% of your revenue, but you're not giving enough products to sell them, or you're not giving them enough opportunity to buy. They're huge fans. 20% of the activities in business generate 80% of the revenue. So incredible book for really narrowing down what's the most important thing that you could be working on. Love this one. Absolutely amazing. 10X rule. Grant Cardone. Boy, Grant Cardone is the fucking man. I don't care what anybody says. You know, he's killing it. And he's a smart motherfucker. And this book really changed my life, especially chapter 12. Not only is it about thinking bigger and adding a zero to your goal, which is totally realistic, but chapter 12 talks about this idea called obsessed. He's got a new book on this called Be Obsessed or Be Average, but this is where obsessed first appeared in Grant's stuff. I read all of Grant's books. Super awesome guy. This is my favorite one. Really incredible book about working hard, but it's this idea that like the best guys are just obsessed with their craft and obsessed with being the best that they can be, and obsessed with getting the result and making this thing happen and in creating this life that they're after. And that was something I just needed to hear back then. And I read that chapter over so many times and continue to read it, because just be obsessed or be average says it. It says it. The people who are obsessed are the guys who win the most and guys who get there and get to the finish line. Last book in the book of 9, Happy for No Reason. This was pretty funny because I was studying a lot of manifesting stuff, and then it comes, manifesting, it's like, if you feel amazing, then the universe is going to send you more amazing things that make you feel amazing again, and if you feel bad, the universe is going to send you things that make you feel bad. It's this like kind of never-ending looping cycle, and I was like, wow, if I could optimize my daily happiness, then I could, attract more amazing things. So, really awesome book. Marci, I don't know how to spell her name. I don't know how to pronounce her name, but she was in The Secret. Super amazing woman about how like we all have this like happiness set point where we just naturally get to this level every single day, so you don't have to like wake up and do a bazillion gratitude stuff, just to be naturally yourself, naturally happy for no reason from the inside out. So really awesome book. If you struggle with happiness, a lot of times because you just haven't studied it. You know what? If you struggle with most things, it's because usually you haven't really studied it. You haven't really dove into any books on it. You haven't really dove into some topics about it. Amazing book about the topic of happiness. I like to describe happiness as just being, a positive emotional state of mind that makes you feel fucking awesome. That's what I call happiness. Happiness is kind of like a little bit too fluffy in the wind for me. But so for me, just having a positive, amazing, feel-good state of mind where I'm focused on amazing things that are happening. I'm grateful for amazing things that are happening, and I got a great connection with, whatever's helping me out up there. Yeah, awesome book, Happiness. So those are the 9 books. I think it was 9. I'm pretty sure it was 9. Those are the 9 books that made a huge impact on my life. But like I said, eventually I ran into this wall. I was studying all these things. I had all this information, and during this time I was taking a fuckload of online marketing courses. So I was learning a ton about how to sell well online. So I had all this wisdom in my head, and I just kept driving stuff into the pavement. My businesses kept failing, and I kept eventually in San Diego, I was selling mobile websites to restaurants, and I had this restaurant that I needed to close this deal on, or else I was going to get evicted. And for some reason, I came up to her. I did this whole amazing presentation, for our meeting, and she wanted it. It was awesome, but for some reason, I just never called her back. I couldn't close this deal. I couldn't pick up the phone and just finish it. That way I could, make stuff happen and make life happen. And I got evicted, and that's when I hit my wall. And that's why I was like, you know what? I need to stop. I was doing business for 2.5 years now. I need to stop for a second and really think about what caused this. Like, what is with these glass ceilings, and what's the deal with self-sabotage, and how can I figure out the answer here? Because I'm fucking it up. Clearly, if I just keep starting businesses, the same thing's going to happen to me. I'm going to run into this monster glass ceiling that's going to destroy me. I got to figure out how to beat this thing. Lo and behold, I got the answer, dude. We've got the answer. You ready? You ready for this? Check this out. Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. Right here. Check this out. I found the answer in one sentence in this book. One sentence. And I'll say it to you right now. I'll never forget the sentence. Action is the bridge between your inner world and your outer world. Here's what that means. Your outside world is a reflection of your inside world. Success is like gardening. Taking action, what I was doing, starting businesses and working my ass off, it's like pouring water on the plants you're growing. But here's the thing. It's working on the plants you're growing. But here's the thing. If you have weeds in the ground, your actions are going to grow weeds out of the ground. You're not going to grow apple tree. You're not going to grow orange trees if you got fucking other shit planted in the ground. Harv Eker, he comes at me. He's like, dude, if you want to change the fruits, you got to change the roots. If you want to change the fruits, you got to change the roots. You're right. You are self-sabotaging. There is stuff going on. There are deep things underneath in your subconscious that is causing you to fuck everything up. You know, it's like a thermostat for your house. It's just like a thermostat. When you start doing well, there's this automatic thing in your house. When it gets too hot, what does it do? It turns on and it cools the house down. When it gets too cold, it turns on and warms the house up. It's just like your life. When you get too successful, your subconscious mind will bring you back down to where you normally are, your landing point, right? But if you hit too big of a rock bottom, your subconscious mind will pick up the desire and the drive, and you're going to get right back to where you were. This book changed my life 100%. It's changed so many people's lives. Harv Eker, he's got so many programs. And not only does he dive into that, but he dives into something so important, which is money, limiting beliefs around money. So many people have these limiting beliefs around money that they got from their parents, that they got from their broke uncle, that they got from some stupid kid in high school, and it just fucks with you. It really fucks with you. And he breaks down the difference between how rich people think and how poor people think. And it is incredible. Incredible, incredible, incredible. Poor people think small. Big people think big. Poor people are smaller than their problems. Rich people are bigger than their problems. It's like there's so many things. Poor people resent successful people. Rich people admire successful people. There's so many things. And if you get this wrong, if you have limiting beliefs around money, you will self-sabotage till the day you die. You will never grow the fruits you want if you still got weeds down there. So what I figured out was I need to start doing some hypnosis, start doing some digging, start doing some hardcore journaling, figure out what was causing me to self-sabotage, rip that shit out of the ground, put the new vision, the new dream, the new vision of the life I'm creating that has all these positive emotional benefits attached to it, start watering that every day. And then start watering that. And that begins to grow. Amazing book. But it took a little bit more than that. Second one, PsychoCybernetics. Second best book of all time I've ever read. My second most favorite book of all time that I've ever read. It is all about your subconscious mind. It is all about your identity. They tell this amazing story about this sales guy who could never make anything more or anything less than $5,000 a day. He was the $5,000 a day sales guy. And this is this idea that we all have this like image of who we believe we are as a person. And if we get outside of that, your subconscious mind will pull you back in. So if you want to break out of your life and break into something new, that image I talked about that you plant into the ground, this is the guy that's going to teach you how to plant that image and really show this image of, hey, my old motto was I'm a rich guy trapped in a broke guy's body, right? So I'm this like multi-million-dollar iconic media buyer. That's my vision for my life. But back then, I would say that to myself. I'm one of the greatest marketers on the planet, but I would be this kind of struggling guy who could barely make, one sale a day. So absolutely incredible book. Such a breakthrough about your identity. It controls everything in your life. It controls everything that ever happens to you. PsychoCybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. Check it out. It's an extraordinary, extraordinary book. With winning in mind. One of the best things about just reading these five books on this topic I'm sharing about is that they all fucking correlate. They all mix. It all connects. That's the whole thing. I got out of the whole God thing 10 years ago, and then I stumbled back into it because it just fucking was connected everywhere. It was connected over here. It's connected over there. I see little signs of it in my life. I'm like, you know what? I can't like just pulse this thing off anymore. This book's not about God. This is about a guy who won the Olympics for archery, I think twice or something. And just the mindset of winning and talking about this identity and talking about how your skills and identity kind of match. Incredible book with winning in mind. I fucking love this book. It is so good and so jam-packed with wisdom. It's really, really good. It's a really incredible book. You got to check it out. Really awesome one. We got 2 more. I'm wrapping it up. The Prosperity Bible. No, Prosperity Bible is a collection of many books on success. There's one in here, though, called The Game of Life and How to Play It. It's by Florence Shinn. Incredible book. This one is very much about intuition. It's about divine guidance, right? It's about linking up with whatever you think might be helping you out there and like helping you, move towards something great. It's like spiritual laws of success. I'm not kidding. This lady was like seriously connected to God when she was writing The Game of Life and How to Play It. Incredible book. My notes on this is fucking fat as hell. Such an amazing book. The Game of Life and How to Play It by Florence Shinn. We're on the last one. This is it. Number 1 book. This is my favorite book of all time. Number 1. This is my favorite book of all time. It's called Conversations with God by a guy named Neil Donald Walsh. You know why it's my favorite book? Because it's the last book that I read before my life exploded. Exploded. I read this on my friend's floor with no job, no money. Everything I owned was in a storage unit. I had just been evicted. I just got my car repoed. My business just fucked my life up harder than it had ever been fucked up before. And I'm laying on my friend's floor, and cockroaches are running over me while I'm sleeping at night. I'm reading this book, and this book is just insane, right? It's this guy. It's a story about this guy, this old dude, and he's just so fucking pissed off. One day he just yells at God. He's like, what the fuck? What the hell? You've got this amazing plan for me. I'm this dude who contributes so much to the world. I'm this guy who can do so much amazing things to help people. But why has my life been such a struggle? Why has it always been a struggle? Why can't I make money? Am I fucking going to be broke forever? Why can't the things that I do become successful? There's so much more that I can do than just these little things. I can contribute so much. What's going on? He fucking yells at God, and he hears an answer. It's weird. It's fucking weird. Let me tell you, it's weird. But he yells at God, and he hears an answer. Somebody speaks back to him, and he writes down what he said. He writes down what he said, and he just starts talking. They just start talking to each other. It's literally this, like, 2 people having a conversation, and I am not kidding you. The way that this spoke to me was so great, so amazing. Listen, I don't believe the last time God was talking to someone who was writing a book was 2,000 years ago, back when the Bible was being written. I think he still talks to people. I think he still talks to people who are writing books. I think this book was a message because, unlike the Bible, I could actually fucking understand this. They break it down. They break down this universal like principle and these universal laws that just is absolutely insane. Like one of the best ones was just like you're creating your reality every minute. Everything you say is creating your reality. And like every question you have has already been answered. You know, and like your life is just, it just shows you how to make your life just take off to another level. And I've experienced it. It happened. It happened to me 12 months later after I read this book. This was like the last book I read, by the way. I was still doing little stuff, but after I read this, I was like ready to fucking grind and ready to make some amazing things happen. And 12 months later, I was balling out in the Caribbean. I met some mentors who taught me how to do some amazing things, and I was balling out in the Caribbean. A year after that, I bought my dream car. It made my first $1 million. It was insane. Conversations with God. If you guys pick this thing up, take a look at it. It's weird. Take a look at it. Open your mind up. Give it a shot. Incredible, incredible, incredible book. That's it. 14 books that helped make me my first $1 million by the time I was 27. I hope you love it. I hope you like it. I hope this audio still worked, and I hope it transforms your life for the good. If you read these, some serious, amazing things are going to happen in your life. And just drop a DM. What happened? I want to hear it. Love you guys. See you later.